Hey guys, what's up? This is White Boy for the win, and today I have another Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire team review video for you guys today. And yes, you guys already guessed it, this is another VGC team, considering that this is the only competitive style of Pokemon that I do play for now on, because like I always say, singles is boring to me now and VGC is more of a challenge, which I like. Now, I've been working with this team for roughly around 4 to 5 days now, and I kind of already finalized it about 2 days ago, I would say. Now, when I was actually making this team, I was in a toss-up of actually making another Tailwind team or another Trick Room team, because Tailwind and Trick Room are pretty much my favorite playstyles to actually use in VGC. And actually, I was actually trying to use like Mega Steelix, Mega Slowbro, just a lot of like slow megas in like another Trick Room team, but it really didn't work out so well. So I decided to go with a Tailwind team, considering that I do like to run Tailwind Suicune and I already know how to actually make teams around Tailwind, so that's what I've done. And alongside that, like I said, I wanted to use Pokemon that I really never used before. So as you can tell from who we have on our team, we do have Mega Scizor, Volcarona, Landorus T, Suicune, Hariyama, and Aegislash. Now with this team, obviously, like I said, I wanted to use Pokemon that I really never used before, but except for the Suicune and Landorus, because obviously those are the two, like, I would say needed, but I wouldn't say that at the same time. It's just that those two are pretty much like my favorite like legendaries to use in VGC, mostly the Suicune just because of how bulky it is and how much pressure it puts on your opponent most of the time. But nonetheless, you guys already know the drill. I'm going to be doing the review, and then after that I'm going to be showing you guys a battle that I have with this exact team. So with that, let's just get right into it. So we're going to start with Mega Scizor. Now I wanted to use a Mega that I really never actually used before, and also I used at the same time. Now when it came to Mega Scizor, and when I used to play like Smogon Tears, I used Mega Scizor maybe like once or twice on an actual team, but I only used the team maybe like twice at most, and then I kind of just scrapped it. And when I used Mega Scizor, I pretty much just pull a random Scizor out of my box, put the Mega Stone on it, and went on Battle Spot singles when I used to have X and Y. I really don't play like Battle Spot singles on Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, but that was pretty much like the last time I actually used a Mega Scizor. Now recently, when I've been playing on Showdown and on my DS as well, Scizor has come up in a lot actually in popularity, same thing as Metagross. Now I was actually having a Mega Metagross on this team before Scizor, but I actually decided to swap it out for, I want to swap out Mega Metagross for Scizor, because the only thing that Mega Scizor is weak to is fire, and that's pretty much it. So Suicune, in my opinion, or Scizor pretty much has like the better typing. It has the typing advantage, and that's why I've chosen Mega Scizor over Mega Metagross. But nonetheless, Mega Metagross is an amazing Mega, and also so is Mega Scizor, so that's why I've pretty much chosen Mega Scizor over Mega Metagross. But nonetheless, it's pretty much just the standard Mega Scizor that you pretty much see. I gave it the Technician ability, or should I say, its ability is the Technician ability even before Mega Evolving, because pretty much no one runs like a light metal Scizor or a Swarm Scizor. Everyone uses Technician because pretty much of Bullet Punch, because it is stab. But nonetheless, for its EV spread, I am running a standard bulky EV spread of 248 in HP, 252 in physical attack, and 8 in special defense with an adamant nature. Like I said, this is a bulky, somewhat bulky set as well. Pretty much, sometimes what I like to do with Mega Scizor is I kind of like to have it in the bag, morely so that actually sending it out at like the beginning of the actual battle, considering most of the time when I come across other teams, I usually have like Landorus T and some other Intimidator Pokemon that can pretty much cripple my Mega Scizor with a -1 in physical attack and or -2 depending if they decide to lead out with like their double Intimidator. So I kind of like to have Mega Scizor in the back, that way like the Intimidate doesn't really hurt me all that much. But for its moves, I do have Protect, Bullet Punch, Knock Off, and Bug Bite. Bullet Punch obviously because of the Technician boost and because it's stab and also its priority. Knock Off's pretty much a coverage move to knock off pretty much my opponent's item, and also Bug Bite because I believe that Bug Bite wasn't a legal move in VGC 2014, considering we had to go with like X and Y Pokemon only, and like Pokemon moves as well, so you can't really use like transfer move moves Pokemon from like Black and White, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver, and Bug Bite was pretty much one of those moves, and most of the time they either ran like U-Turn or X-Scissor, and I actually like Bug Bite over like X-Scissor or U-Turn for this format because Bug Bite pretty much eats your opponent's berry and you gain the effect. So like for instance, if your opponent has a citrus berry and you use Bug Bite, you are going to gain the effect of the citrus berry because of Bug Bite, and that's what I really love about Bug Bite as well. Now that's pretty much the only reason why I have like the bug typing, the bug move on Scizor, just because of the Bug Bite, and that's pretty much it, because I really don't come across a lot of psychic types except for like Cresselia and maybe just a little bit of Gothitelle, and that's pretty much it. But I usually use knockoff to pretty much just like kill them, because that's pretty much super effective and knock off their item. So pretty much Bug Bite, in my opinion, is there for just coverage and also a stab, and you gain the effect of your opponent's berry. So with that, there is Mega Scizor. So let's move on to the next Pokemon, which is Volcarona. Now, I never ever used a Volcarona before, even in singles, and I wanted to actually try it out in VGC because I actually seen Aaron Cybertron Zang use one, and I kind of wanted to test it out as well. Now, at first, I actually had the Rocky Helmet bulky set on Volcarona, but I didn't really like it all that much, so I decided to go with like the fully offensive Volcarona instead of like the bulky one, because I think that the offensive Volcarona is way better than the bulky set as well. But for its item, we are running the Lumberry and also the Flame Body for its ability. Lumberry is pretty much just there because of Spore, because Volcarona isn't a grass type and it can't get put to sleep, even though it is a bug type, so that's pretty much why Lumberry is there for. And also I would say probably for Toxic as well, considering that you can't really get burned, and also for paralysis. I also forgot about that status conditioning move. So Lumberry is a very good item on Volcarona, obviously, like I said, because of Flame Body, because it can get a potential burn on your opponent if your opponent hits you with a physical type attack, and also for its EV spread. We went with the standard set, or EV spread, with max special attack, max speed, and 4 HP with a modest nature. I decided to go with the modest nature over like the timid nature, just because I want as much physical attack as possible. Now, or physical attack, special attack as possible. Now for its moves, we are running Protect, Giga Drain, Bug Buzz, and Heat Wave. Now I decided not to run the Quiver Dance just because I am not running a Pokemon that pretty much has Rage Powder and or Follow Me, and that's pretty much the only way I would probably actually use like a Quiver Dance or a setup move like Quiver Dance and or Dragon Dance on a Pokemon. And since I'm not really running like one of those Pokemon on my team, I decided to just go fully offensive with Protect, Giga Drain for pretty much Rotom Wash, because I've been seeing a lot of those as well, and also for for coverage, Bug Buzz for stab, also, and same thing for Heat Wave for being stabbed and also hitting both of my opponents as well. And I've seen a lot of people run like Overheat rather than the Heat Wave. I actually prefer Heat Wave over like Overheat, Fire Blast, and or Flamethrower, just because it could hit both of my opponents and it could get a potential burn on pretty much both of them, and it has a little bit more power than Flamethrower. So with that, there's pretty much really nothing I can go over with for Volcarona. It's just that it's a Pokemon that I really never used, and I actually really do like it on this team. I've actually used it a couple times to actually put in the work, so Volcarona, like I said, does do the job. So with that, let's move on to the next Pokemon, which is Landorus. Now the next two Pokemon I'm just going to go by really fast, because you guys already seen these sets, and I don't want to waste your guys' time. But nonetheless, like I said, this is the Choice Scarf, Adamant Nature, Max Physical Attack, Max Speed, Landorus that I've used in pretty much all of my VGC teams whenever I actually decide to use Landorus, because Choice Scarf, Landorus T in VGC is very good. And obviously the pretty much the common moves: U-Turn, Superpower, Rock Slide, and Earthquake. I'm pretty sure I had Knockoff over the U-Turn, but I decided to go with U-Turn just so then I can pretty much switch out and also deal damage to my opponent to potentially break Focus Sash. That's pretty much like kind of like the only reason why I have U-Turn over Knockoff, considering I do have two users right here that get access to Knockoff, so there's pretty much no reason for me to run a third Pokemon with Knockoff, and so I just went with U-Turn instead. But nonetheless, like I said, there's really nothing I can go over, because this is pretty much the standard Landorus T that I usually use and pretty much what everyone else uses as well. So let's move on to the next Pokemon, which is Suicune. Same thing like I said about Landorus, there's pretty much nothing I can really go over about it just because it's the same exact set you've been seeing on pretty much all of my VGC teams whenever I have Suicune. It's the Citrus Berry set with Protect, Tailwind, Scald, and Ice Beam with the EV spread of 236 in HP, 80 in physical defense, and 112 in special attack with 80 in special defense with a bold nature. This is really a bulky set I really do like. It actually eats up hits and it can actually potentially put pressure on my opponent, considering that a lot of the times I usually like to set up Tailwind as soon as possible. Now, I do get taunted sometimes because I've actually been seeing a lot of Thunderouses with taunt, and pretty sure mostly I've been seeing a lot of Thunderous actually being used a lot again. So they do carry the taunt, and sometimes they taunt me from actually stopping me from using Tailwind. So I pretty much just switch out and pretty much use Rock Slide or just something to take out the Thunderous, because most of the time that Pokemon is more of a threat than others. Now, what I usually like to do with Suicune is that I like to lead out with Suicune sometimes, depending on what my opponent has, and try to set up Tailwind as soon as possible, and also have Landorus just there sometimes in the back, because of like intimidating most of the time, and Volcarona, and sometimes I like to lead out with Volcarona and Suicune, Tailwind with my Suicune and actually just protect my Volcarona, and then pretty much just attack my opponent from there with Volcarona with the Tailwind up, because it is going to outspeed a lot, and plus with the Lumberry that Volcarona does have, my opponent can Thunder Wave me all it wants, and I know that the Lumberry will activate and I will have that speed increase and pretty much just Heat Wave my opponent, and that's pretty much what I usually like to do with those type of combos. And sometimes I like to lead out with Scizor and Suicune, Mega Evolve sometimes, and pretty much just Protect, because I like to get the guaranteed Tailwind up and then actually start doing damage to my opponent. That's what I really like to do. But like I said, or I shouldn't say like I said, but Kangaskhan has been rising up in a lot of popularity in VGC again, because usually when I go on to like Showdown or like on Battle Spot, I haven't been really seeing all that many like Kangaskhan, just because a lot of people had a counter for it. And then now, like, since VGC is kind of wrapping up for 2015 next week, I would say, Kangaskhan is becoming a bigger Pokemon in popularity, just because it's just one of the best Megas out there for VGC because of Parental Bond. But nonetheless, those are just a couple combos I like to use with these four. So let's move on to the next Pokemon, which is Hariyama. Now you guys see my Hariyama in my Trick Room team, and I actually changed it up a little bit, and I haven't did a Thought Bubble on the Trick Room team yet, but I will sooner or later. But nonetheless, I wasn't a big fan of like the max attack and split the rest of the EVs down the middle for 128 in both of its defenses. I just really hated that set, or should I say its EV spread. So I kind of went with my own EV spread. I believe this might be a Smogon set, so I kind of want to take credit, but at the same time I don't, just so that I don't want it like be wrong. But if it's not on Smogon, then I will put like a little thought bubble around the video saying, hey, this is my own set. But nonetheless, I went with the Assault Vest Hariyama set just because with the EV spread I've given it, and also with the Assault Vest, this thing will be able to live a Mega Gardevoir Hyper Voice. I've done it before. I will live with like 10% health left, and that's actually very good for what set I'm actually running. Now, like I said, we are running the Assault Vest just because I've had a lot of problems with, like, for instance, Mega Salamence with like Hyper Voice, and pretty much just Hyper Voice Pokemon like what is it, Sylveon, Mega Gardevoir, and also Mega Salamence pretty much are like the bane of my existence with the Hariyama. So I went with this set, and it actually can eat up at least one Hyper Voice coming from those three Pokemon. Obviously, for its ability, I went with Guts just so that my opponent actually gives me a status conditioning move, or hits me with a status conditioning move, and or hits me with a move like Sludge Bomb that has a potential chance to status me. I get the Guts boost, so Guts is actually probably the best ability for Hariyama in VGC, just because like Will-O-Wisp is also a thing on like Rotom as well, same thing for Gengar, and so that's why I went with the Guts. Now for its its EV spread, I went with 84 in HP, max attack with the Adamant Nature, and 172 in special defense. Now with the EV spread, I actually went with, this thing, like I said, can't eat up Hyper Voices coming from the three Pokemon I mentioned, Mega Salamence, Mega Gardevoir, and also Sylveon. Now I'm not sure if it will be able to live a Choice Specs Hyper Voice coming from a Sylveon, but I know it can live a Hyper Voice coming from a Mega Gardevoir, so depending on what kind of set you run for your Mega Gardevoir, Will depend if I can live it or not, but I haven't really calced it just because I don't know how to use damage calc, and also I don't know like the common set for Mega Gardevoir is, so that's also part of the reason why I know I can actually live a Hyper Voice, because I've done it before, and I don't know if the video I'm going to be showing you at the end is going to be from a Mega Gardevoir team, but nonetheless it was a great battle. But anyways, 84 in HP, I wanted some HP investment, so I went with 84 in HP to make it a solid 450 in HP. I went with max attack with the Adamant Nature just because I actually wanted as much attack as possible, because I am running the last 172 EVs in its special defense with an Assault Vest, so I know this thing will be able to eat up special hits way better, because Talonflame really hasn't been a consistent Pokemon, I would say, in VGC right now, because I only came across like maybe one Talonflame and that was it, and I knocked it out with the Landorus T. So with this set, I really do enjoy it. I actually run this exact same set on my Trick Room team with Mega Camera, but instead of an Adamant Nature, I have a Brave Nature with 0 IVs and speed. That way I can take full advantage of the Trick Room once I set it up on that team. But nonetheless, like I said, this is the exact same set I have been running now, because I hated the other Hariyama set with, or should I say EV spread with max attack and the rest of the EV split down the middle evenly in both of its defenses. And for the moves, we are running Fake Out, Close Combat, Ice Punch, and Knockoff. Fake Out obviously because it is a priority move and it can also flinch my opponent. But like I said, Kangaskhan has been coming up a lot of popularity right now, just because I would say VGC 2015 is going to be coming to a close next weekend for Nationals, and pretty much Kangaskhan does outspeed Hariyama, obviously because Hariyama has a base 50 in speed and can pretty much fake out my Hariyama first and pretty much just knock it out with its other Pokemon, because that's what a lot of people like to do. So sometimes I like to lead out with my Hariyama and Suicune, and most of the time when my opponent has Kangaskhan on the field, they like to sometimes fake out my Suicune just so that I don't have to set up a Tailwind, and I kind of bluff my opponent saying, hey, I'm going to go for a fake out on your Kangaskhan with Hariyama, even though you do outspeed me. And I actually did this once, and I bluffed the fake out and went for a close combat and knocked it out, and they just raged quit. It was pretty funny, if I do say so myself. So you can do that sometimes, is that you can lead out with Suicune and Hariyama when your opponent has like the Kangaskhan out as a lead. You can bluff the fake out, go for a close combat real quick, and pretty much just go for Protect with your Suicune, or you can go for the Tailwind if you feel gutsy enough if your opponent's not going to go for a fake out with their Kangaskhan. But that's pretty much what I like to do with those two Pokemon as well. Ice Punch for coverage, considering that the only Ice type move I have on this team is Ice Beam with Suicune, so another Ice type physical coverage move does do good with Hariyama. And also Knockoff, because I wanted another Knockoff user, just so then if I don't use Mega Scizor or my Mega Scizor dies and I have Hariyama in the back, I actually have another Knockoff user. And I used to have Rock Slide over the Knockoff, but I do have Landorus T, and pretty much gets Rock Slides off more so than I would have with Hariyama, and Knockoff is just a better coverage move in my opinion for this Pokemon. So Knockoff, like I said, is a better option than Rock Slide. So with that, there is Hariyama. So let's move on to the final Pokemon, which is Aegislash. Now I've been wanting to use an Aegislash for a while now. I used it in singles before it got banned to Uber, so that's a while ago actually. And I've seen Aaron Cybertron Zang using an Aegislash as well as a Volcarona, so I knew I wanted to use those two on my team. So I wanted to use pretty much, sorry about that, the exact same moveset and also item as Aaron Cybertron Zang, because I really never used a Aegislash in doubles before. So I went with the standard Smogon set that it had weakness policy with 252 in HP, 100 in special attack with the modest nature, 156 in special defense with a quiet nature. So obviously this is a special attacking Aegislash, which I really do like, considering that my opponent can burn me all at once or Thunder Wave me all at once. It really isn't going to affect me, considering I am not a physical Aegislash. And the moves I am running is King Shield, Wide Guard, Shadow Ball, and Flash Cannon. Pretty much the standard moves you would run on a regular Aegislash in VGC, but instead of the substitute I went with Wide Guard just because Heat Wave is a very common move, Discharge is somewhat of a common move, and just moves that pretty much hit both of my Pokemon at the same time, kind of like Heat Wave. So Wide Guard does come in handy when it actually needs to. Shadow Ball and Flash Cannon obviously because they are both stab, and they do really hit your opponent hard once your opponent activates the weakness policy on your Aegislash, and it just puts in nothing but the work. So And also, a couple of combos I like to do is that I like to lead out my Angus Slash and Suicune sometimes, or sometimes my Hariyama and Angus Slash, because when my opponent has like a Kangaskhan, they have the option of like faking out my Angus Slash before Mega Evolving, because I'm pretty sure people who use Kangaskhan probably use the Scrappy ability before Mega Evolving just to fake out Ghost type Pokemon just like Angus Slash. So that's sometimes what my opponent likes to do, is just to fake out the Angus Slash. That way I believe that if you are faked out, you can switch your stance change, but you get flinched out either way. So that is also a thing that I believe actually happens as well, or your opponent wants you to actually do, so then that way it'll be easier to take out the Angus Slash, because its defenses and it also both of its attack stat get flipped once it changes its stance. So that's what I think my opponent likes to do. But then sometimes I just pretty much take out the Kangaskhan pretty much right there and then with Hariyama. So that's pretty much a couple of common combos I like to do with Angus Slash and with this team. So with that, there is the team. So anyways guys, I'm actually going to stop talking right here so you guys can go and enjoy the battle that I had with this exact team. So like I said, with that, enjoy the battle. Anyways guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this team review video, don't forget to hit that like button. Also don't forget to comment and subscribe. Now there is no guarantees, but this might be the last VGC team review I do for the season, considering that next weekend is Nationals, and that's pretty much when VGC ends for the season. So this is pretty much like a late game team review that I've been working with for about 45 days now, and I actually like how the team came out. So I'm going to be using this team roughly around probably until like the end of next week, like I said, when VGC is pretty much done for the season. But nonetheless, like I said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, and also don't forget to comment and subscribe. Now if you guys missed my previous team review video, which was I believe Mega Salamence, it will be in the description box down below, so you guys can go and check it out. But like I was saying, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, and also don't forget to comment and subscribe. So this is White Boy for the win, and I'll catch you guys later.